Yeah, I'm losing my
Very
edge.
excited, Pete, to be introducing the small technology 60, the index, the futures that started trading this morning here / STIX. So I would definitely say go look at the price data and whatever platform, go look at it on our website. But here for the next couple of minutes, we are going to do a deep dive into the product itself, what it tends to trade like, and what are the benefits? Why would we introduce another technology product at all? And hopefully, it's not just another technology product. I think it's going to be the last technology product that any of these traders, futures or ETF or stock or otherwise, are going to necessarily want. Because Pete, we thought this one out pretty well. I mean, we tend to think most things out well, but this one we really took a step back, and we're toying with the idea of our next equity product here at the
Right.
small exchange. And the small stock 75 is nice because it's got these five sectors that summarize the entire U.S. economy, the entire stock market here in the U.S., and it gives relatively equal weighting to each of those sectors. And then we said, okay, well, tech is what seems to be on everyone's mind. It's the largest weighting in most of the traditional market cap weighted indices, which is to say tech companies are the biggest out of all the sectors. So why don't we take a look into that? But instead, Pete, of just taking the 15 tech names out of the SM75, we wanted to go even bigger with this and say, let's look at 60 names. Let's categorize them into their own little subsectors, which I don't think any technology product has done to this point. Usually you have either a biotech product or an information technology product or the disruptive stocks that are in media or any of these things. No, we wanted to almost take a step back and create a whole stock market out of technology names. And I was telling Michael about this, Pete, and you maybe remember this. You're a little bit older than I am. But it's similar to me, the idea behind the Dow Jones Industrial Average back in the 1890s, where they zeroed in on this sector because industrial companies were pretty much the whole stock market at the time. And they looked at 30 industrial names, and I was like, well, it's 2020 now. It's no longer 1890. Technology is, for all intents and purposes, the industrial of this age. Why don't we do the same thing and just create a whole stock market out of these tech names? And we've got names from biotech, retail, media, and information. And I think we did a pretty successful job.
I think we did a great job because when you run through these names, I think when you look at Nasdaq, the one thing you would say, well, biotechnology's not necessarily represented in there. But when we talk about building product in the small exchange, we always wanted to build product that is relevant and that we're vested in as individuals, as traders. And what I mean by that, they're part of our daily lives. We cross currents with them. And we certainly do through these sectors of retail, of technology in terms of media, technology in terms of information, and biotechnology. So this really is a relevant index that lives in our world. And most importantly, I love the way you say we redefined what technology is in terms of an index, but as we always do by building product from the ground up, but we also built a product that lives very comfortably in the world of technology. If you're trading Qs, if you're trading other technology-based futures, this is a fantastic complement to those products and fits really nicely within that world.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get to Qs here in a second. We can start a little bit of that comparison already. When you look at the 60 names here, 15 in each of those subsectors in technology here. And all this information is at index.dxv.com if you just go over to the STIX section of that website. And Pete, we didn't go away from Apple and Microsoft and Amazon. We really didn't try to say, oh, we want to be so different that we're going to reinvent technology stocks. Right. No, we just wanted to reinvent how people view and trade technology stocks, because I think people are getting a little bit sick of 9 out of 10 tech products just being 30 or 40% of those these three names. I mean, the Nasdaq, the Qs that we're going to get to in a second, Pete, is I think close to 40% just those three names, and 25% Microsoft and Apple. And so you advertise yourself as 100 stocks that are in the technology realm, and 25% of those, the weighting of those 100 stocks is 2 stocks. And then you add Amazon and you're up to north of 30% in 3 stocks there. And then you add Google and you're almost at 50%. No, we wanted all of those names involved, Pete. We're not trying to go away from those names at all, but we said to ourselves, let's be the first to house all of these technology stocks in one place. So you don't have to go to XBI or IBB, these different biotech places, or you don't have to find a small one-off ETF for technology stocks in media here. We have video game stocks. We have Disney, which you might not think is a technology stock, but we think the way that Disney has redefined itself and pivoted, it's at the forefront of technology in media here. And you've got, Netflix, some of those newer names, but in the same realm as Disney. And I mean, Pete, this is the first technology product that puts all of these names in the same place. And what's beautiful about it is it still trades with a very high correlation to XLK, to QQQ, to the Nasdaq futures, to all of those traditional tech products that are really just 4 or 5 stocks, has a high correlation. And you don't have to go different places for all of these subsectors in technology, which right now, to me and to a lot of people, is really the only relevant piece of the stock market. Right. So this is very new, very inventive, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback from people. This is a great group of names. I'm very confident in this group of names we put together.
I am too, and I think it will be something that will be an interesting, a very interesting or relevant exposure to technology. And we go through that litany around Nasdaq and its concentration. I would think nobody would want that. Not only the people benchmarking against it, but even the index creator. You're not trapped, but the index representation is a function of what was decided 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So they tend by nature to have.
You're boxed in a little bit.
You're boxed in, right. And this gives you the ability. We are very fortunate to be able to build products that resonate with a large audience, give the exposure you want, and not be boxed in by those constraints. So this is really kind of an exciting thing to do. And one of the things that's great when you build cash settled index futures, which is what we have them, that really just means there's no maintenance at the end of the expiration cycle if you choose not to. But because they are they're cash or today's value, you can go back and look at the history. So many times we've looked at new futures. Frankie, you and I have traded them. We've either been incentivized or whatever. And it's so disappointing when you go and look at the visual and you see a bar. And it's like, all right, what am I supposed to do with that? That makes it really tough to figure out what to do. Here you can go and, as you mentioned, go back and take a look at all 60 names, their weightings, and the history.
Yeah, a bunch of information at this site here for that. And also just throughout Tech Week and throughout the rest of our lives, Pete, we're going to be doing a bunch of historical analysis of this index and the futures that you all have to trade on top of it. Right now, about a 0.9 correlation to the Nasdaq. And even with those nuances of our small technology 60 product, that correlation is very high up there. When you look at Nasdaq relative to the S&P 500, Russell, Dow, small stock 75, any of those other major equity index futures, this one is the highest correlation to all of those and to Nasdaq out of all that whole group. So it's going to get you the closest exposure to technology out of anything. I mean, I would honestly contend that STIX gets you better exposure to technology than Nasdaq itself. And what's great about it is you've got a price here that's right around $50, something that ETF traders, stock traders are used to seeing, not $11,550. And the size of it, Pete,
quit making fun of me that I can't say that number, okay?
Yeah, no. Pete is now quoting the Nasdaq. I'm taking price right here.
I'm taking the 10,000 that's given. So
yeah, you're just quoting it. That price is $15.50 to Pete because it's so clunky, and then also the size of it is clunky. They came out with these micro Nasdaq futures, Pete. I think earlier this year, weirdly around the same time that the small exchange was announced, and you've already got a product that's over 20 grand I don't think, once again, I don't think that they planned for this in the
No.
same way that they didn't plan for a 100 name index being 50% in its top 5 holdings there. But either way, we got the STIX now, and I really think it is a better display of what technology is doing in this U.S. stock market here. And actually, I can't even say U.S. because there's a global aspect to this as well. There's some of those companies from China, and of course, we did some great vetting of these companies to make sure they had large market capitalizations,
Right.
great liquidity and volume, so that they weren't one-off stocks that could, go from $100 down to a couple of pennies overnight. But yeah, really cool exposure here in the STIX, and something that's only $5,000 notionally. Hard to find in futures.
Very. Oh God. Sorry
It's
about
ringing
that.
off the hook with this technology
It's ringing. That
opportunity.
was my real phone, Frankie. Oh my God. And I can't make it stop.
Has anybody heard a landline ring before in
That
the
was
last
it.
couple of years?
Huh?
You were the antithesis of the technology
I'm
product
sure.
here.
Yes, I'm sure they're calling to sell me something an extended warranty on a car I haven't had for 10 years. So
That's the calls that I get all the time on my iPhone as well. I've never owned a car in my life, but they say that I'm overdue on the warranty. I don't understand how
I
that's
think
possible.
that Rabbit Turtle car comes with a warranty, and that's
What it is. Yeah, it was my childhood little plastic toy car that could only go rabbit or turtle. They sold me a warranty on that. But yeah, Pete, it's also just going to be easier to buy or sell this market here at only about $500 in margin from the exchanges side. And then depending on your brokerage, they might tack on a couple extra bucks relative to this micro Nasdaq, which is already up to $1,600 in margin and is already moving $450 per day. This is exactly what we wanted here, Pete. A market that moves about $100 per day, and that's 100 unique ticks for those $100. And we saw it this morning. I mean, this market was up over $1 this morning, came all the way back down to touch unchanged, and that's a great opportunity from an intraday perspective. Great opportunity from an investment perspective when you talk about all those different names and not having to go to several ETFs or single stocks to get biotech with retail technology and information technology. It's really just a great new product for investment, speculating, hedging. When you look at these low margins and this nice daily move that allows you to get opportunity of around $100 without having to risk hundreds to thousands of dollars.